Hi, Yoko.
Welcome everyone. We're going to get started. Some of our participants actually are still joining, so we'll build them in when they're able to get on. We're really excited to welcome everyone to this last in a series of Bright Spot events. And we have a very packed agenda, so I'll get cracking. I am Kate Brown from the Global Island Partnership, and this Bright Spot event series has really been focused on the idea that island success is built upon initiatives that work, and we call those bright spots in GLISPA, and have a whole series of things around bright spots, including this event series and a fellowship, which we're talking about today, and you'll be able to see more about that on our website. But bright spots are really proven concepts that are ready to be scaled, that highlight and showcase successful solutions to island resilience and sustainability resulting from community partnerships. So we're really looking at the very local level in this Bright Spot series. And they show us how we can build on what is working to conserve and sustainably utilize our invaluable natural resources. If we were to put that simply, they are inspired island solutions in action. This event series that we've been talking about has been held in the margins of major international events, and we have an in-person version, not of this, but of the Bright Spots series that will take place during COP27 in Egypt. In the Pacific Pavilion, and Paula can share more information about that in case anyone's going to be physically in Egypt. But with that, we've been highlighting bright spots from islands around the world with a different theme each time. We have also used a kind of unique format for running these, which are designed to facilitate and connect the local, everyday, unseen heroes in the trenches, and we have a whole bunch of them that are on this, that are going to present today, with high-level global players and decision makers, and how we'll see that through this session. Together, we think that we can unlock the resources and the grassroots know-how necessary to scale these interventions in country, as well as to share them with other islands around the world. We've really been pleased that we've been able to work together with our main Bright Spots partner, which is the GEF Small Grants Program at UNDP, as well as others, such as the Micronesia Conservation Trust, who has been a very strong backbone of our work on this. And we launched this Bright Spot series late last year. And I'll talk a little bit after our next speaker about the Bright Spots Fellowship, which is what we're really focused on today. Our agenda today has some opening remarks from me and from Yoko Watanabe from the GEF Small Grants Program at UNDP. She's the is our project partner for this effort. And then we'll hear a little bit about what the Bright Spot Fellowship was about. We'll meet the Bright Spot Fellows and have some both questions and answers with them, but also we'll look at some of the products that they were able to produce as part of this fellowship. And we have a very excellent respondent in Gerald Miles from the Environmental Defence Fund. And then we'll have some closing remarks and next steps. So we'll move quite well through this program. Please feel free to use the chat to ask questions or to engage with any of the people that you hear talking, or to share resources and things that you think that you have that would be particularly useful for others in this webinar. We're also recording it and we'll share this widely on social media after the call. And now I'm going to ask Yoko, so Yoko Watanabe, the Global Manager for the Small Grants Program, and a really wonderful partner and a wonderful champion of islands, to give her opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Kate. Great to be here. I'm here as the Global Manager of the GF Small Grants Program, which is covering 128 countries, but among that is 37 small island development states. And we're really happy to be partnering together with the GLISPA and Micro with all of you here to be working on the initiative. Thank you very much. And so the GEF Small Grants Program, as you know, is a corporate program of the Global Environment Facility implemented by UNDP since 1992. And for the past 30 years, we've been working with many partners, including many of you, and we have supported over 27,000 projects in 128 countries that I mentioned. And particularly SIDS and the LDCs are a key focus of what we do. And we provide finance for innovative solutions that are coming from the CSOs, civil society organizations, and local communities, and provide that sort of seed funding to innovate and bring in some new sort of ideas and scale that up with other resources and partners. So that's what we do on climate change, biodiversity, land degradation, and many other issues. And of course, the marine conservation, as well as rich to reef, coral reef conservation, many things that are related to SIDS are a key focus of our program. And what we do, how we do that is used as a social inclusion platform, involving many women organizations, indigenous peoples, as well as persons with disability and youth, particularly in the SIDS. We have been working with many youth associations and youth leaders, and also bringing them into what we will be talking about to develop their leadership skills and also meaningfully have a dialogue at the global level through the COPs and many other events, so that the voices of the SIDS and the youth voices are also being heard. So we're really excited that GLISPA and Micronesia Conservation Trust has been our key partner for the past few years, working to bring in the highlight and to the bright spot from the SIDS. And we have been working on quite a bit of initiatives with the Global Island Network to basically replicate and scale up the good practices from the local community in SIDS. And one of these initiatives is the one that we'll be highlighting today, which is the GLISPA has launched this inaugural fellowship in April in 2022. And I'm really excited to learn about the work of the 7 fellows at today's event, and also see, how we can further nurture the island champions, and particularly from the Mediterranean Sea to the Pacific. So I really would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the initiative and all the fellows here, and really looking forward to hear what you're doing, your dedication, your passion, and see how we can partner further and scale up the work. So thanks so much again, Kate, and really looking forward to the webinar today.
Thank you, Yoko. Wonderful words. Yeah, I'm going to just talk a little bit to what this session is about, which is about Bright Spots Fellowship. And as Yoko said, in April 2022, we started, from February to April 2022, we ran a process to identify Island Bright Spot Fellows. And I talked a little bit about what our idea around Island Bright Spots are, but we were looking for community-based initiatives that were doing work in islands around the themes of ocean action, climate action, or biodiversity conservation. And the fellowship is really about helping the fellows that were selected, and this is the selection of Bright Spot Fellows, to tell their story. So each of them had to have a nominated community champion or fellow who we could work throughout the process and telling the story of the Bright Spot. There was no age limit to being a fellow. So we have a very diverse range of fellows. And then once chosen, so this is the 8 that were chosen, but one person is not available today. We have worked with each of the fellows to help tell the story about their Bright Spot as authentically as possible, and then created opportunities for networking between the fellows and also with other organizations and other initiatives, including those that are in Europe and Africa. And we've had fellows highlighted in a number of GLISPA events. So we've been really pleased to kind of learn from what the fellows are sharing with us. And then now we're at the point where we're kind of taking this opportunity to highlight what the stories that have been told. So I think 5 of the people that we're speaking to today, or 6, will be sharing through a video that they've made as part of this Bright Spot Fellowship. And then one will be talking, you could take different ways of telling the story, and one is taken a different way. And so we'll also hear from that. And then we'll have the opportunity to ask some questions, and the audience can also ask some questions, and to really dive into the amazing work that's being done in all of the places that are our fellows are based. So that was our first and inaugural fellowship of this type, and we hope to be able to do others. Yeah, and this first inaugural fellowship is shortly coming to a close, and this is our, in some ways, closing thing. But we're really encouraging people, after the stories are told, get to know each fellow a little more, particularly if things that they say resonate with you, the organizations that they represent, and what can be done to scale their efforts upward and onwards and to support their work. So with that, we'll pass to Paula, who's going to introduce each of the fellows. We have this in kind of 3 different chunks, where we'll have a group of activists, well, one person, that's what we're calling activists, a couple that are going to be more the scientist story, and finally 1 or 2 that are focused more on the cultural aspects. And so over to you, Paula.
Thank you, Kate. Our first Bright Spot Fellow is Caroline Caruana. She's a civil engineer and photographer. Caroline's appreciation for the natural and built environment inspired her academic and personal pursuits. While studying architecture, civil engineering, and sustainable energy, Caroline used photography to document people and places in rural and traditional settings. When overdevelopment threatened her home village, she established a community network dedicated to the preservation of the home and its cultural heritage. With this network, they have been able to resist land reclamation and development that would have proven detrimental to their livelihoods. Caroline's belief in sustainable living informs both her professional and personal lives, as you would see in her videos.
Hi everyone, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be in the world. My name is Caroline, and I am one of the founding members of the Marsa Scala Residents Network in the island of Malta in the Mediterranean Sea. I am really sorry I could not be with you in person, but I am thrilled to be given the opportunity to premiere our Bright Spot story, which is a story born out of love for our community and showcasing a vision for what we can be. The Marcia Scala Residents Network is a movement rooted in activism, standing up for what we believe in against powerful economic forces that are threatening to destroy completely the character and ecological balance of our small seaside town. It's like a David Goliath story, but although we are outmatched, through our efforts, we have shown how the power of civil society and its protest efficacy can halt some really crazy, destructive construction monstrosities. The Bright Spot story that you are about to see in the video will help you understand how we were able to do it and how we want to continue doing it. Because you see, this movement cannot be sustained on opposition alone. We really believe that we have to show people other ways and new possibilities informed by past traditions and sustainable practices. So in this video, what we wanted to portray is the perspective of the wide range of stakeholders living in our community, be it fishermen, farmers, youth, experts, the elderly, and it is their voices which is what genuinely inform the vision for our community and the programs we foster to make it more livable and healthy for all. Now, if you live under the threat of similar destructive forces like we do, I hope it inspires you to do the same, no matter how hopeless or helpless you may feel. The joint actions through physical and digital protesting of civil society have proven to be effective in changing political decisions. You will be surprised at how many people may feel the same and what you all can accomplish together. So, enough of me talking. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this video that we have set up, which has truly been a labor of love.
Witlajn u ħajti xinġib ħafna memorji fuq missieri u x'konna nagħmlu f'dak iż-żmien u hekk. Tiftakar ta' meta konna nażaru, kienet ħajja sempliċi, u ma kienx hawn ħafna karozzi u ħafna sorbi u kien l-ambjent kien aħjar.
My name is Victoria. I've been living in Marcia Scala for the past 3 years, and in general in Malta I've been staying and living for more than 20 years.
Jiena Vincent Onna, għandi 75 sena, ili ngħix ġewwa Marcia Scala għal dawn l-aħħar 20 sena.
So my name is Mark. I am 35 years old. I've been living in Marcia Scala all my life.
Jena jisimni Leli, trabbejt tista' tgħid nofsi ħażabbar u nofsi niwitilaj. Kont żgħir niġi ma' missieri nistat, bqajt f'dik il-linja li nħobb is-sajt u nħobb il-baħar.
Jiena Wistin Police, bidwi mwet il-lajn, u ġej mir-razza tal-bdiewa, nannu kien bidwi, missieri kien bidwi wkoll.
Jiena joġobni ħafna l-ilma, pal-ilma mek, mux l-ilma li nixrob, il-ħut u kollox li jiet taħt il-bahar. Is-siġar mek għax inħobbu ħafna is-siġar.
Jien darettant tal-bahar minn dejjem, allura il-bahar huwa wieħed mis-sors li joġobni with il-lajn. F'dak il-każ inħobb id-dajjes, nara dajjes fil-bahar, nara dajjes l-art. Dak huwa bħala hobby tiegħi minn dejjem tal-bahar.
It is a beautiful village. It has its own bars, nightclubs, restaurants, shops, beaches, sightseeing project, basically everything that you need for the life.
What I like about Marsa Scala is basically the sea, rocky beaches. We have nice places where to walk, especially in the Munshar area, community that we have over here.
Il-maġġoranza ta' residenti ta' Marsa Scala huma ġentili, jgħinu li xulxin. Konna għadna aktar żgħar meta konna noqogħdu f'żgura, kien konna niġu biex nogħmu hawn. Illum qegħdin wara l-bieb il-baħar u mhux biss wara l-bieb il-baħar għandna il-passiġġati li nistgħu nagħmlu flimkien bħala familja. Mbagħad nieqfu x'imkien u noħdu dik il-naqra drink u nagħmlu dak li ngħidulu l-family meeting ta' bejnietna.
Li joġobni dwar Witilajn huwa r-raba u li hawn arja pura minn ġej minn fuq il-baħar u arja sabiħa u veduta sabiħa.
Jiena ma nħobbx meta persuni jew tfal jitfaw il-plastik ġo l-baħar. Għax il-plastik waħda mill-affarijiet li huwa sena għal-dinja tagħna.
Changes, unfortunately, I have seen are mostly negative rather than positive. And one and foremost change is ongoing construction.
Construction that is going up without any proper planning.
Il-bini esaġerat li qed jitla bla razan.
Bini għoli s-siġerat.
Witilajn inbidel ħafna ġdidu ħafna popolazzjoni u ħafna nies. U għabel konna żgħar konna niġu naraw il-mos u n-naċ u issa m'għadhomx jiġu dak l-affarijiet u għaxaw ħafna karozzi u għatar ħafna żvilupp f'daqqa.
The garbage left by other people outside, it's not as clean as it used to be.
Increase in human and animal waste, which seems like people are just throwing away the garbage everywhere or just across the road.
Innuqqas ta' parkeġġ li għandna Marsa Scala.
U affarijiet oħra, huma bħalma kien ħajsir pereżempju l-marina, li għalina ma kienet sa tkun ta' soddisfazzjon, allura ma jistax ikun li noqogħdu dejjem niġu daqqa xekk u daqqa xekk u daqqa xekk dej ma tagħmilx tajjeb.
In-nuqqas ta' enforcement fuq fil-komunità.
Also, lack of green spaces and lack of, let's say, longer time on restoration of processes for the sightseeing projects, which are very beautiful around the Marsa Scala.
Kieku kelli nibdel Witilajn kif nixtieq jien li jerġa' jiġi bħalma kien fil-antik, baħar nadif, mhix ħafna ħmix tal-fish farms, ġej mal-mewġ u jkun ħajja sempliċi kif kienet qabel, 50 sen ilu.
Nġiba 50 sena allura kif kienet. Għax hekk nixtieq nara bħal meta kont żgħir niġi ma' missieri, nistad, dik li nixtieq jien.
Innaħi l-plastik, innadda fil-baħar u nħawwel is-siġar.
I think that the concept of green wardens would work, basically finding people for dumping waste.
L-enforcement tal-pulizija li ikonna dak il-community police.
Marsa Scala would be full of parks where families can interact with each other, make the life streets which are decorated with flowers and plants, and basically like make the Marsa Scala more life, not only during the day but even during the evenings.
Ma jkunx hawn dal-bini esaġerat.
Proper planning for the future buildings that we're going to have.
Marsa Scala Residence Network f'kollaborazzjoni mal-NGO Move u HSBC Malta qegħdin naħdmu biex ninkoraġġixxu lil membri tal-komunità biex jagħmlu attività fiżika, jimxu, jiġru, jużaw ir-rota u qed inħeġġuhom biex jirrekordjaw il-kilometri li qed jagħmlu. Għal kull 50 kilometri illi jingħaqdu ħadd għandna siġra. U l-pjan huwa illi l-ewwel fażi nużaw is-siġar illi nkunu qegħdin niġbru permezz dawn il-kilometri biex din l-erja tal-magħluq nerġgħu intuha il-ħajja u nerġgħu nimlewha bis-siġar kemm jista' jkun.
Thank you.
Welcome back, folks, to a brand new video.
Thank you, Caroline, although you're not here, but that was a great video. Our next fellow is Adi Ken, a marine artist and archivist. Adi is currently a PhD candidate at the Scripps Institute of Oceanography. Adi has been documenting oceanic life for over 10 years, digitizing images in research facilities or depicting them as artistic renditions on a personal blog. Her archivist efforts have contributed to the global repository of information on marine life, like seaweed, fish, corals, and marine invertebrates. She has also exhibited these scientific illustrations around the world, co-authored several scientific research papers, and mentored other students on their academic journey. Adi will now share her story map with us.
You're on mute, Adi.
Adi, you're muted.
No, Adi, I think I can see you're unmuted, but we cannot hear you.
Maybe we can, maybe what I suggest, Adi, is you restart your computer, and maybe we can move to Sun and then have you after Sun. So over to you, Paula.
Sun. Sun Vermeulen is a marine conservationist and technologist. Sun's love for the ocean began around the age of 7. He combined his interest in technology with this love by focusing his academic pursuits on the marine environment, achieving a Master's of Philosophy in Marine Chemistry and Environmental Monitoring. In his current role at the Marine Megafauna Conservation Organization, Sun assists in the sensitizing and promotion of marine ecosystems, the importance of the ocean to our food security and health, as well as sustainable and responsible ecotourism.
Hi, my name is Sun. I was born and raised in Mauritius, a small island in the Southwest Indian Ocean, which kind of explains why I became a marine chemist and a member of the Marine Megafauna Conservation Organization, also known as MMCO. Here's our bright spot story. MMCO is an association of people united by our common passion for the ocean to help protect whales, turtles and sharks, to preserve the rich biodiversity of Mauritian waters. Studying these animals in the field, I can unfortunately see the impact of human activities on them. We must therefore find the right balance for humans and wildlife to coexist and maintain a healthy marine ecosystem. Now you see, as an island, I am aware of the many challenges small island states face today. Based on our studies, we advise decision makers on mitigation measures. However, we believe that the success of our mission and long-term impact cannot be achieved without involving the local communities by raising awareness. Each of us must take responsibility and choose the sustainable use of natural resources. Thus, our educational programs are the most important components of our activities and our bright spot. We aim to connect people to the ocean by sharing knowledge of marine ecosystems and process links, marine biodiversity and threats, how to conserve and use resources wisely. In the past 12 months, we have held more than 50 educational events for almost 1,000 people, including students of all levels in Mauritius and other countries in Africa, as well as locals, sea users and guests of the island. We are proud to share that this year, MMCO was the winner of the Resilient Island Award category of the Island Innovation Awards with an educational program that aimed to provide alternative livelihoods for local fishermen and skippers in the areas affected by the Wakasho oil spill. This program allowed participants to gain knowledge about marine ecosystems and be trained in professional diving, which further led to employment opportunities in blue economy projects. And to conclude, a wise man once said, "In the end, we will conserve only what we love love only what we understand, and we will understand only what we are taught. We only have one home, let's protect it."
Thank you so much, Son. What a fantastic video. Adi, we are going to open the floor again to you. We're still not hearing you. I'm not too sure why. Can we move on to Anna Carolina, and then Adi will try to sort out whatever issues she's currently having. Sorry about that. Anna Carolina is a marine activist and scientist. As a surfer and lover of the sea, Anna Carolina is deeply invested in the protection of the marine environment. She works to monitor microplastic in the ocean, specifically the Brazilian coastal zone. Part of her activism includes educating and empowering citizens in the acquisition of plastic pollution data for informed decision-making. In this role, Anna monitors the occurrence, abundance, and distribution of microplastic in approximately 15 beaches and 5 islands.
Nos últimos 5 anos, o plástico tornou-se uma emergência global. Encontrado cada vez mais em lugares distantes e remotos, estamos rodeados desse material, ainda em busca de solução para seu descarte e reaproveitamento. Sabe-se que se a atual produção de material plástico continuar, Em 2050, teremos 1.800 milhões de toneladas entrando nos oceanos. Um dado alarmante que exige de todos nós mudança de atitude e um trabalho focado na contenção e regulamentação desse material. Assim, quem sabe, a máxima que em 2050 haverá mais plástico do que peixe no mar poderá não se realizar, ou ainda que a atual realidade de que a sociedade está ingerindo 5 gramas de microplástico por semana poderá ser transformada. Não conseguimos ainda mensurar o verdadeiro impacto dessa realidade na saúde humana, mas podemos ver o impacto real na biota e nos ecossistemas marinhos. O impacto do microplástico na ilha de Santa Catarina é uma maneira de compartilhar informação sobre como estamos lidando com essa problemática e quais setores estão sendo impactados por ela. A ilha de Santa Catarina situa-se no Oceano Atlântico Sul, na porção central do litoral do estado de Santa Catarina, e se estende na direção sul-norte com cerca de 54 km de comprimento por 18 de largura. Como característica de ilhas do Atlântico, possui acentuado endemismo, particular fragilidade biológica e grande diversidade genética. A presença da poluição plástica pode ser contabilizada a cada limpeza de praia e monitoramento que fazemos na região, já que estamos distante a 500 metros da costa no ponto central da ilha, unido por 3 pontes, Ponte Pedro Ivo, Ponte Colombo Salles e Hercílio Luz. A produção e o descarte de resíduos se tornam um ponto-chave na discussão do impacto do microlixo, uma vez que o material disposto de maneira errada ou a falta de manejo de descarte fica na natureza, sofrendo ações de intempéries físicas e químicas até se quebrar em nanopartículas.
Nessa imagem a gente vê um fragmento microplástico e aqui um náuplio de crustáceo, ou um camarão, ou um siri, eu não sei identificar. Mas a interação desse microplástico com a biota, adentrando a cadeia alimentar e contaminando, porque o plástico ele tem na sua parede, ele tem estruturas que agrega metais, que agrega outros contaminantes orgânicos. E esse material, quando entra num trato digestivo, quando passa pelos ácidos desse trato digestivo, eles acabam sendo liberados dessa parede, que é esse plástico, e entra então numa corrente sanguínea e contamina e biomagnifica, ele se concentra nesses corpos, porque a gente não consegue metabolizar muito os metais pesados, então a gente acaba sofrendo com essa contaminação associada com o plástico carregando esses poluentes.
A ilha de Santa Catarina também desenvolve a atividade pesqueira desde sua colonização pelos açorianos, vindo das ilhas dos Açores e região no século XVIII. Todos os anos, as praias da ilha ficam fechadas para atividades esportivas, durante o período de 2 meses, onde ocorre a pesca da tainha. Infelizmente, a tainha vem diminuindo ano a ano. Além da diminuição do estoque pesqueiro, é cada vez mais comum encontrar lixo marinho nas redes.
O prejuízo que a gente tem com esse lixo que é descartado no mar de forma inadequada, No mar jamais descartar lixo vai ser adequado, Eu trabalho com pesca há mais de 30 anos e complemento a minha renda hoje ainda com a pesca. Antigamente a pesca, quando a gente pescava, a gente não via tanto lixo no mar, mas já tinha bastante lixo, sim. Principalmente essas sacolas de plástico, Então, qualquer lanço que a gente dá no mar hoje com a pesca, você sempre vai trazer lixo, algum tipo de lixo.
Lixo como sacola plástico, garrafa PET, agora com essa pandemia, muita máscara também. A gente encontra roupa, encontra chinelo, tudo que o ser humano produz no seu dia a dia a gente encontra no mar, Principalmente quando a gente bota a nossa rede de acaciar com as águas, a quantidade de lixo é imensa, E como a gente está numa ilha que tudo desemboca no mar, principalmente aqui na nossa Bahia, o pescador que vive aqui das duas Bahias Norte e Sul é o que sofre mais com isso,
Eu acredito que em torno de 40% a 50% dos pescadores hoje trazem seu lixo do mar. Infelizmente os outros 50% não trazem, Mas eu acho que é um pouco falta de conscientização, um pouco falta de incentivo, um pouco de falta de cultura até, de trazer esse lixo do mar.
Então a dificuldade de nós pescadores, tanto do Sagres como qualquer outra praia pertencente a Florianópolis, até as cidades vizinhas, São José, Palhoça, que fazem margem aqui com a nossa Vila Bahia, sofre com isso tudo.
Porque esse lixo atrapalha muito nós. Aumentou muito, com certeza. Antigamente você tirava uma sacolinha, sempre tirava 2 sacolas, 3 sacolas, né?
A gente não vê diminuição não, a gente só vê um aumento.
É uma lástima, né?
O fato de o material plástico ser leve e de baixa densidade permite que esse flutue e seja transportado pelas correntes, por diversos ambientes, afundando e inclusive ressurgindo na coluna d'água, e então encalhando nas praias e costões de acordo com a hidrodinâmica ao redor da ilha.
No trabalho da Mariana Van Drensen, que foi um trabalho de conclusão de curso da oceanografia, a gente buscou avaliar a entrada de microplástico vinda dos principais rios que drenam para o estado. Então temos o rio Itajaí, e o rio Tijucas e o rio Camboriú, e em áreas afastadas dessas regiões, para ver a relação entre o número de fragmentos que encontravam vindo dos rios e o quanto desses fragmentos que a gente encontra então na plataforma. A gente viu que a quantidade de itens por metro cúbico, por exemplo, no rio Itajaí, está em torno de 4,3 itens por metro cúbico, enquanto que numa área mais afastada isso já cai uma casa decimal, então vai para 0,30, 0,40. A gente ainda não tem esse levantamento aqui na região da ilha de Santa Catarina, das Baías. Tem um estudo que foi feito por um doutorando, pelo Henrique, e a gente está processando então esse material e espera ter esses resultados aí até final desse ano. Mas o que a gente vê? Que esses fragmentos de plástico na água, eles estão muito associados a fibras, que podem ser fibras vindas da indústria têxtil, como é o que acontece na região de Itajaí, que tem uma bacia hidrográfica com muitas indústrias têxteis, ou por fibra vindo também da atividade de pesca. Então a gente precisa quantificar, identificar isso, né? Relacionar com essa potencial fonte.
A seguir, contamos com o depoimento de Suelen Goulart, técnica da ONG R3. A ONG R3 Animal resgata e reabilita animais selvagens desde o ano de 2000 e desde 2015 a R3 Animal executa o projeto de monitoramento de praias da Bacia de Santos, o PMP-BS, na ilha de Santa Catarina. Esse projeto tem abrangência desde Laguna de Santa Catarina até Saquarema, Rio de Janeiro, e é uma exigência do IBAMA no licenciamento ambiental federal.
O microplástico, né, tem vários estudos, é o assunto da vez, assim, na ciência, principalmente na ciência de biodiversidade marinha. E dentro da necrópsia é bem alarmante a questão do resíduo na vida marinha. A gente encontra plástico em quase todos os grupos, né, de animais, de vertebrados que encalham aqui. A gente tem como principal grupo, né, as tartarugas marinhas, são as mais afetadas pelo macro resíduo, né, principalmente. E a gente sabe que se aquele macro resíduo está ali, o micro resíduo também pode estar, né, que é o microplástico. Então a gente tem uma presença marcante desses resíduos no trato gastrointestinal desses animais. E por mais que a gente ainda não tenha dados muito concretos ou dados muito trabalhados e robustos, a gente desconfia sim que esse microplástico pode estar presente também de outras formas nesses animais. A ilha de Florianópolis é uma região da costa brasileira muito importante para várias espécies, né? É um ponto de parada para algumas espécies, uma área de descanso, uma área de alimentação muito importante. Então, com certeza, se a gente tiver medidas de conservação para diminuir a quantidade de resíduos, né, que acabam indo parar no mar, a gente vai auxiliar sim. Mas grande parte desses animais que estão aqui são animais também migratórios, que utilizam outras regiões, né, como por exemplo a região oceânica. Então, a questão ela é muito maior. O resíduo ele vai parar na área costeira, mas ele também está nas regiões oceânicas. E quem que usa essa região oceânica? Como que esse resíduo vai parar lá?
Esse cenário é focado na ilha de Santa Catarina, mas provavelmente poderia ser replicado para qualquer ambiente ilhéu, pois estamos falando de um contexto atual, onde estados pequenos em desenvolvimento, assim como ilhas pertencentes ao território marítimo de países, estão enfrentando nesse momento.
Another great video by our Bright Spots Fellows. As you noted, there is a second part, and that would be showcased on our website, our GLISPA website. I'll put the link into the chat once it's completed. Adi, it's your turn again. I hope this time
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Good, thank you. Sorry for the technical difficulties. So thank you for the introduction, Paula. I would like to share my Bright Spots story, which is a story map. So it's not a video, it's more of an interactive website that I hope conveys the spirit of Palmyra, which is a remote, uninhabited atoll in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, as you'll see, about 1,000 miles south of Hawaii. And I do my graduate studies are focused there, but I actually live in San Diego. But anyway, this story map covers from the modern history of Palmyra, from when it was supposedly first discovered to when it was actually part of the Hawaiian Kingdom and later was declared US territory, was owned by Judge Henry Cooper and then sold to the Fullard Leos. Actually, during World War II, it was occupied as a naval air station by the US military, and then thereafter, it was proposed to be used as a nuclear waste disposal site, but thankfully this was rejected. Palmyra was then sold to the Nature Conservancy by the Fullard Leo family. The Nature Conservancy sold many of the islets other than Cooper Island to US Fish and Wildlife Service. Different research initiatives have been ongoing there, partnerships with different universities. In 2009, the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument was proclaimed and later established in 2014. And the Nature Conservancy has been working on various conservation projects, such as eliminating invasive black rats and coconut palms. Notably, Palmyra was named Mission Blue Foundation Hope Spot in 2018. And so next in my story map, you'll see how in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, there's below Hawaii, this tiny atoll, zooming in onto Cooper Island where there's a runway. And then a section about Palmyra's biodiversity and abundance. It's teeming with flora and fauna. You can find out more about the different species in this free app that you can download that I helped develop with underwater photographer John P. Hoover. Here you can see just a selection of some of the beautiful animals and plants from above land and below water. And then this illustration of mine, which shows connectivity on Palmyra across the terrestrial, coral reef, and open ocean systems, as well as a transition from a degraded reef to one that is recovered. On Palmyra, we're seeing evidence of long-term stability and resilience. Although the corals were affected by a global bleaching event in 2015, as you can see, they mostly recovered within a couple of years, which is really promising and is a testament to Palmyra's resilience. And then finally, the last section of the story map is what can we learn from Palmyra and how can we apply what we learn toward other areas? So I have listed the different current conservation projects from different areas, and then examples of successful restoration initiatives, such as the coconut palm dominated forest now with native trees that provide space for seabirds to nest and roost, and also understory canopy. And then a reef dominated by the invasive corallimorph, which kills stony corals. This was thought to be influenced by the leaching of nutrients from a shipwreck that was later removed in 2013, after which hard corals, branching corals could thrive again and support fish populations. And so, yeah, this overall, I hope, conveys the spirit of Palmyra. I know that it's not accessible to everyone in person, but I still think there's a lot that we can learn from it and a lot to share. So thank you. We'll put the link to the story map in the chat, and please feel free to browse on your own. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Addie. And as she mentioned, a lot of all the illustrations within that story map is Addie's. So now we'd hear a little bit about from the fellows themselves. We have a short Q&A for the three fellows that just showcase their work. And Kate, over to you.
Great, thank you, and wonderful work. I mean, wow, the ability to kind of really dive in and tell your story, both in the story map and in your videos, is incredible. So I'm only going to ask you, I think, looking at the time, like one question, and we'll ask everyone to respond to it. But it's, despite your backgrounds, you're all in doing research and science. But a big part of the work you and your organizations do is really delving into activism, awareness, and education. Sun's video, and that was a tremendous video, I want to go with you, Sun, said it best in that you only can serve what you love, and you only love what you understand and are taught. How do you strike that balance between doing scientific research and educational outreach? And for Sun and Anna particularly, do you have any updates on the awesome educational programs that you referenced in your videos and how people may be able to help or contribute? And then for you, as an add-on, Addie, is what next for you in this work? So who would like to start? I will pick someone. I'll pick Anna Carolina.
So good night, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I will try to be quick in my responses. So yeah, I believe that communicating today science is the key to ocean conservation. So we, as our Blue Hands project, we are very focused on communication plans with campaigns and social networks, work with the school, the community, and even the training, you know, because we're building this engage with the community when we are doing the trainings. And so I think the second part of this video will be how we do the collecting, how we do the samplings. So I think the most people can help us in this project when they started to collect the microplastic on the island. So they can see the step-by-step, and they can start to do the microplastic samplings and send the data and building this database. So everyone can do, and this is important. We're gonna share the second part of the video, and then everyone can share their own work, their own databases around the world. Sorry, Katie, you are muted.
Yes, I just realized that, terrible. Thank you so much, Anna Carolina, that was wonderful. And over to you, Addie.
Well, currently I'm completing my graduate studies at Scripps Oceanography. My dissertation focuses on the health of coral reef communities on Palmyra. Over the past decade, I've been analyzing imagery taken at different sites on Palmyra's reef every year for the past 10 years, looking at how coral colonies are growing and bleaching, dying, recovering, regrowing over time. Another of my passions is science communication, and particularly science communication through art. I'm not sure exactly what my next steps in my career will be, but I'm hoping that I can find a way to utilize my skills to benefit conservation in some way. So, yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. And over to you, Sun.
Hey, thanks. Thanks, Kate. Well, to strike the balance, really, we need a bit of both to reach our goals. So we have spent many years documenting marine megafauna and are seeing the effects of pollution on them. We even have a video of our president of the association taking an empty bag away from a sperm whale, like you've seen in the video. And there are also videos of turtles eating plastics and so on. So using those data that we have gathered from all our trips, we've been able to effectively speak to fishers, tourists, and boat operators, divers, and young generations to develop a new mindset. So that's our sensitization program. A holistic approach on relationship between men and nature, combining traditional knowledge and science, and a solid understanding of the inseparable link between environment and the long-term well-being of communities. And obviously, this includes increasing the involvement of local residents in the process. And these help local people to also develop a clear understanding on conservation actions. Sometimes unpopular well, it's not very popular at the moment. Like, the whole conservation thing, it's catching on. So there's still work to be done. The whole sensitization programs are still helping a lot. So now, like the second question, the second part is how, how these programs have been able to contribute. Well, we've had sensitization programs, and so far we've been able to actually, yes, I'm disappearing, sorry. We've been able to get permissions to go to local primary schools, the governmental ones, which are a bit hard to get into because they don't allow anyone to just get in. So we've been able to get permission to go there. And the latest one we did was to grade, well, to 5-year-old to 11-year-old ones. As adorable as it was amazing to see how interactive they were, because they still have that passion onto, like, wait, why are turtles eating plastic? So, and then that's when you answer, because they see plastic as jellyfish and they eat jellyfish. So when they eat, the other problem that happens is when they see the plastic, they see them as jellyfish, they eat the plastic, and then it's not good for them. So, well, it's awesome, really, to actually be able to tell them. And we have been able to give such explanations with great visuals through the amount of time we've spent documenting. And we've picked up so much trash from the ocean, with nets, blankets, pillows, donuts, so many you wouldn't even think. So basically a lot of the things that we have been able to do was thanks to the contribution from our sponsors as well. And regarding contribution, over the past years, we've had UNDP and GEF Small Grants Program who supported our projects and help us reach this level of visibility. So thanks a lot for that. We also have a crowdfunding page, but we'll get to that later. Thanks a lot.
Yes, please share your crowdfunding page and anything else that you would like to do in the chat, because we're going to move to the next session just in the interest of time. But I want to really say that all of you, thank you so much for both your contribution today, but also what you've produced and the story you've told. I think it's really important to make sure that we hear and see from people in these local places, what their situation is and how they're dealing with it. And I think for you, Adi, just that historical record together with science, I'm definitely going to go and have a look at that and kind of study some of the things that happened in Palmyra Atoll, a place we hear a lot of in our part of the world. So thank you very much. And back to you, Paula.
Thank you, Kate, and thank you, Adi, Anna, and Sun. We now have the next two presenters. We have Wilson. Wilson is a legal practitioner and conservation coordinator. He believes that the preservation of traditional knowledge and practices, together with the conservation of our natural resources, is necessary to create wealth, security, and sustainable development. He works towards climate action, collaboration, and conservation in a community-based organization focused on preserving the natural environment. Wilson is invested in the empowerment of Indigenous peoples using community development initiations, educational programs, and economic opportunities for the benefit of themselves and their communities. Now, sit back and look at Wilson's video, which is really awesome.
Climate change remains as an undeniable threat to the existence of humanity. The increasingly storms and hurricanes, such as causing countless deaths, catastrophic flooding, affecting food crops and property, is undermining the basic human rights such as the right to life, food, health, democracy, and the rule of law. The Pacific Island communities are the front line experiencing and battling adverse impact of the climate crisis as an issue they contribute to.
Okay, and that's on environment where seeing where climate change where causing and ami now and hanu ame and need and conservation and kemahe and tini awe kurhura tamana amde say that are kamurudo kredewan ami asi poina and hiru akiri dika uta and assistant hai mauno ute kare and dikman horo ide and a change dikman horo so tona ai and harara ami ma and una ma am kasi harara hore ma and kama totoro toino tamana ute bai dia dikman horo so tona ai ami nitimno hana protecting mana area hana conservation o nanas ami hana protecting mai tamana an dikman are asi an kan hane ide tona angkut hana protecting mana dikman awe an environment so ana asi nauna masu ma nauna hanua hana protecting mai ide ana natowai hana nakate ide man an experience him ide nakana swai so nakana si ko tainor ena oh ora abo on akide im na no roi ni kuma ade dictator
kita masih careful dengan dua soal kemarin. So kemudian nama saya ini dapat kita tonton ya bawa kita tonton ya, anak tonton ya anak lupa kemarin nama kita pada dah, nama anak ini bola bukan animals, now forest ya, kita kan ni aku tu ke dulu, aku di dia aku disturb dia, mau bola basna kita dah mana ni non. So tiada udah, ada orang, ada mereka dia hana, kau isi makan ni mah, pasti dia dah. Tapi aku dia orang itu di rumah, di hidup tu tanya, aku ramai hati di kanan. So ini supaya dia ada kareng, supaya dia ada kareng. Tiada dia. Usually, di mana orang dapat itu baru kita repeat. Bapu kita konde tiada ke supaya dia. Kau dia anak kau ya, andi bapu dua amun semara. Kau dia ada suka. Kita orang itu apa kau kita ada mah. Ai pun kau ibu dah kali dah nak korang. Kita asal no, ada tiga. Orang custom waktu itu kita bayar. Ada yang kau.
Data ko ane o haudu. Nakana so ana digman are ane kadeu na ona huna kuma ai nakana so ana hani manu na ona huna kuma kane hani manu mani ahana hani kire kadara mani kia ai ma kire ko dara aba mani kia na ona hani huna kuma mani atohon hani mahike tuhon hani mahike kire kani ani ai ke to huchi ko kire dara mani kia no ide sin ai mahike hana kire kani ani kisto to huwa kira ani boleh tak kira ani anak kisah bye dia dah oh hendak rau hendak kira ani ene kisah bye dia mani nadaya ini ona han si ini ene tamar ho ani hendak on manu ibere dika kira oni nau hanu ene ide ene ayah ani hendak ulihan nadaya ene te adu ada soalnya ani mahike ma ada uni hani mahike dia han nau hanu ene tu ai kira udah oh itu emak ada tidak nau hanu mahike dia ho emau no woi te haru mahike dia tu tadi ulina hani mahike dia hak sima hani mahike dia ani tu yang ni mama ulina ene ide ani emau no woi ayah hani po ni ana te haru hani ada hani tatare hani si ini tatare hani hani oni kiribera nana matare kui he te tare kui ho kire ete horo obonna te horo tagri tare kui o kire ore ani huto one na huto oni nana ma hani huto te horo ro ki hani si ine ma o dikira ma ke to si como te huto ma no wai te huto ma no te hani hani anana ma no tamana hani tuhun hani anana edo huto emau no hani mahagere te hani manu ko dai ya ha to ho edo kiri ko dai no we emau no we ani no kiri ko ani na mahike te hawe manu ani kiri kiri dai ko na kiri dai ko dai hani ai kiri to si ini ke kamadi do skire no we ne pine ani kiri ko to
Oh iya. Arar. Akarar uno.
Ako ay ute ang kakakawalan ni mama. Kita dia mai kalasuna. tụi nó nó làm cái họ đi cái ông có rồi nó thì mà nó ông có chết tụi là cái anh hồi đi cái cái đây là điều quá mà xí họ này đi ông cả cái đi mà cả cái họ không cho ông xin này hay đi mà nó ông cái ở nhà không ông cái anh ấy ông cái họ xin lại ông có anh là cái họ như mấy người tiêu cho siêu chơi họ không trả lại nó họ xếp hay ông xíu anh anh có thể chưa có anh nhà rồi mà anh cam mà họ nói anh tụi kia dùng bao chạy lại mà rồi gọi mà rồi cam mà ông cái anh mà ông chỉ tu hà đã nhiều mà áo nó ông cái anh Puri era mahal hara amya ko am kai ang puri ai mo hara amya ko hai onto am kai ani te bani am si ho yo bi ma on si am kai ani ni te am si da he ji hara wa ka to am ko ani Ana harara am kala dukusia harara hana hasia ema ane am dukusia na ho na nima hana ko one ake ide am one ha yana pudiana sisi ho hana am ko ane ide hani ka mama han tapina ma hani ekama Ani aroma, ani ang krudo ko siya. Ay kakabon maasumute ma, ani ay asima, ani ang tahasim, pora ma, ani arara. Hindi ang kaya niya, ang krudo ko siya. Ang kon niya, ani kamaudi ma, ani anan. Kau, han ang kuhuwe, ang uye kedua peran kau dua peran dulu poin am dua am guhir naoi am orang kau ane ke baba ke bahu hana du kasih ona mo rumah am guhir kau na am dua on beo ata on beo am kasih na masu am totorasu am ko uan ko rete ko aro te ko kau guhir ang posya na maasuhan ng utay da sisiwa ko. Kito ay di ang kito hono siya. Araw-araw ate. Asi, dulu kahan-hane, ana ang hasi mahike hono siya. Mahike os tuway di. Ang uya tete hono siya, tete os kora siya da. Tang dulu hane may hane di tarong may dai buhen na. Hera amin na hanima amin na ijam tewa ko hon siya na.
Hakaho nila sa.
Hakaho mahikay daw totoo siya am kasi mahika am ko uitete hon siya daw makahe tinihi. Ide hani akto hon siya na. Am tapi am kaho ko di tay. Am paana no kide am kunale I bera oswai dia di kumana ahanak hon siya kaho ko ruma. Kung siya siya dulu kahanin, ana un, jama osway dia tahu menau pa torehan koruga, ana ide.
Thank you so much, Wilson, for this video. We have our final presenter, Ida, a conservationist and social worker. Ida has over 14 years of experience in social work management and public administration. She serves as the coordinator of the Network for the Indigenous Peoples Solomons, NIPS. In this role, she promotes traditional knowledge used by rural communities to protect and conserve the environment. As a GLISPA fellow, Ida intends to bring greater visibility to the women-led biodiverse conservation efforts in the Solomon Islands. Her focus is on forest restoration and conservation initiatives employed by the women of her community in remote Isabel province.
People must look savvy that this is treat him important, that by no spoil him or make sure people must allow them no man logging and come no man take and go osin. Me must tell him that treat him important to us.
Him always remind him future generations by him come, because those same stick way me use him now, yeah. I think make a 3, make a 4 generation, but still use him, remind him now, you me where me go now or same.
Him important to us that me fella must plant him back, replant him back, make him change him now where other been damaged finish.
Restoration of Tubihan, tenement deer, mi pala microtenos, this one, and inside no mining mapping no katan, where restoration way So, Palmyra had tell him that I'm really happy. And the Isabel government support him now, restoration and conservation, not logging and mining. So Hailu is one of the national sites, and Habihua and Soplepulo Sanjot. And Tubi is one of the endemic species where people of all the like it too much. And if Tubi have grown, Nicole have stayed. And now what the mines say. So Hailu have sit down into Nicole. But project here also have indirectly and broken one bukamin na because have recognized and government inside the national strategic plan and the staff of college. Tupalana lo de women and premier na lo de after signing na ota some paperwork signing na ro. Premier na lo ya. Honorable Rodas Kilap.
Nimblomi nesta manehia, we from Hagelu. This is very important to my life, blomi fala, because ose mi fasai wake a house from this fala tree. Even ota stick for mi fas masim ota kakai blomi fala. Even ota ball where mi fasai using for smashing kakai, or even ota headstones, or stack something na mi fala make them out na lo this fala tree. So hem important to mas lo life blomi fala this time and other future pekinini blomi fala we other still to come. So me berhappy to mas time other conservation group other come introduce him this one that me sabe and me inside full-hearted blomi me berhappy to mas because me one fala woman where inside the community that me say sorry to mas that time ota logging come and take him out every 3 years. O say me sorry to mas lo heart blomi that ota santiwa important to mas ota take him out where for future blomi fala. Why na osim? So same time conservation him come in, me say na true na me happy to mas me fala by sabe protect him na disala tree. Environment blomi fala or forest blomi fala.
Me David Hastings. Me married come lo here. I think for the last 20 years me spent lo here now. Me got him now this fala responsibility where our kata se level 2 appointing me to become one fala village chief lo here. This fala stick to be him rare. Yeah? The species I think him barba need him good conserve lo him, which is me fala se level kat lo kota because him important lo life blue people. One thing when me fala looking go lo that fala party now, this fala stick here, him always remind him future generations by him come because those same stick way me use him now, yeah. I think make a 3, make a 4 generation, but still use him, remind him now, you me where me go now also. Me fala believe him and me fala got him faith and hope that these things by later on by what help him or kata pikininis belum me fala or future generation by him come. So just the way me fala got him consider him na this fala thinking for me fala hold him up strong thinking, not for accept him anything where by him come destroy him now. Reality. I think him become identity blow me fala place. Hayulu, I think him one fala place where our kata capable and what fortunate long future endeavors belong our kata long what things where him still lay ahead. Me fala look him this time yeah. But one day in life I think our kata pikininya by our kata harvest him now. Our kata struggles, challenges where me fala present leaders where me fala face him.
Thank you, Ida. Another amazing story. I now hand over to Kate for the questions.
Thank you, Ida and Wilson. Well, we have a little bit of time left, and I'm going to really just ask both of you to tell us what are your plans moving forward and how can others get involved with what you're doing? So over to you, Wilson, first.
Yes, thank you very much. Our plans going forward would cover a lot of approaches, like what should we do in trying to advance our work in terms of conservation and trying to address the issue of climate change. Not only that, but bringing some kind of development to the rural communities when doing conservation work. So there are a lot of challenges that we also encountered that has affected us from achieving some of our goals. But going forward, we believe that one key important aspect that we should be focusing on is trying to engage more with our partners and trying to see where our gaps are and what are some of our shortfalls that we could collaborate with our partners to advance more of our work and objectives in terms of conservation and trying to bring development to our rural people. That's one. Another thing is empowering our local communities to preserve and using local capacities to address issues of climate change. We know that we Pacific countries, we less contribute to the impacts of climate change. However, we face the impacts of climate change at a very adverse rate. So trying to address issues of climate change, it's a big challenge. Securing climate finance is a big challenge. So this boils down to our local capacities that we should engage more, improve more, and try to use our traditional knowledge in a more sufficient, more accessible, and more less cost-effective way to address the issue of climate change. So that's the morale behind this documentation, is showcasing what we have at hand to adapt and mitigate the impacts of climate change.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Wilson. And we'll keep working to share these stories very broadly. But the same question over to you, Ida. What's next in your community, and how can others get involved with your mission?
Thank you very much, Kate, and thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, so first of all, the story of Hagelu is basically to highlight the women in leadership in conservation, which some may think that this is has little contribution, but at least we are doing something in conserving our forests to counteract the adverse impacts of climate change that we're already facing. So with the Hagelu women, you know, it is really a bold step for them, because it is the men who are usually, you know, organizing all these logging and mining activities. And then many communities in Solomon Islands are just consenting to all these destructive activities, which impacts our people a lot. But here, our women are taking the bold step to move forward into restoration as well as conservation. So we've signed MOU with the government of Isabel province, where the community is from. So they are helping us to move this work forward and supporting our women. And we want to highlight this to other, other communities, not only in Solomon Islands, but in the Pacific region, or other indigenous people around the globe who are struggling with, looking after their resources, because after all, they are life itself for our people. And so moving forward, we want to protect this using our legal mechanism, using the Protected Area Act, so that it is well protected and it's legalized, and we have support from the government. But of course, doing this work with the people in Hagelu, especially the women, we've come across a lot of challenges they face. So in terms of, they need economic empowerment. So maybe the support we would need, especially the women, would be some initiatives to publicly, and then need more in understanding conservation would mean in terms of science. So, highlighting the traditional methods they're using, which is very sustainable, traditional practices and protocols, using traditional protocols, where we have the structures in the community, where we have the chiefs and elders, and continue using these resources. So that's our thoughts moving forward. We hope to get more support around those areas that I've mentioned. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you so much. And I just really want to thank both of you. I'm going to and all of our Bright Spots video presenters and people that have presented things just really, you know, it really pulls at your heartstrings watching your videos. And with that, I'm going to actually pass to my good friend, Mr. Gerald Miles, who is, and I did look up, who I've worked with for a long time and has been in our network for a long time, but he's currently the Vice President for Government Partnerships at the Environmental Defence Fund. And we call on Gerald because he's very good at inspiring us all with his summaries, not to put him too much on the spot, but he is, what we have in our Bright Spot events is always someone summarizing all of what they've heard and giving us a message to leave with. And so we're going to ask Gerald to do that. Over to you, Gerald.
Just unmuting. So thank you, Kate, for that introduction. Don't let my current title fool you. I was born an islander, so that's really the title. That's the only one you need to know. And have been thankfully able to follow GLISPA through its lifespan so far. Look, I just, let me add my thank you because to all of you, because this is a real commitment by you individually, and it's how you see the world and how you have captured that voice that is very local and so important today. More so, I think, than at any time in GLISPA's life cycle, to be able to connect what's going locally to what needs to happen globally. On a very personal level, you know, you're able to shine the light. This is the bright spot piece, really, on what's possible. There's truth to all this, and it's not about what's stopping us, but it's what will ultimately give us hope. And right now, frankly, this is hope and action are important. They go together. Being able to demonstrate, Ida, you said a very small piece of small impact, but it's not, and it's very real to those who live there, and it is being scaled in many different ways in many different places, and we have a responsibility to connect them. I want to, because we're running out of time, I was wondering how to sort of bring all this together. The most important thing are these, you're all connected through advocacy and science and culture. These are parts of the same puzzle, and you approach the conversation perhaps differently. But as I heard it, it's all about building trust and understanding. You know, trust through information, through science and education, trust through responding to culture, trust through identifying what needs to change in the advocacy that actually empowers people to do this. So I love that the bright spots, that you're all fellows, all connected, but you start at different points, but to achieve the same outcome. Lastly, I want to say, look, it's so important now. Islands have been the moral compass for many global negotiations and have, in fact, taken a leadership role in many of these. And it's about, now it's about promoting action, and that's where GLISPA started. So the moral compass and islands holding up a mirror to the rest of the world and saying, this is what's needed, is now turning through you into, this is actually what can be done. And this is the sort of action we need to promote. And GLISPA started by connecting to high-level champions and sort of moving that piece. And now we're bringing these the top and bottom together. We are bringing the relationship between local action and what needs to happen globally. This is a time when we actually need. This is a time when we actually need. Hold on a second.
Hello.
Yes, hi. I'm just on a
Do you
call.
need anything?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the hotel. I'm staying in a hotel. So I'll finish there, other than just to say, please continue this good work. We will figure out ways to scale. Each of your issues around scaling will be different. Local is local. We need this voice at the table. It is a very strong movement globally. And so thank you. And more, please.
Thank you, Gerald. I also feel the same way. And I thank you so much for agreeing to take part in being a respondent. You're always inspiring. And I know that you'll take what you've learned today forward in some way and figure out a way that we can work on scaling what we've heard. I want to, we've actually come to the end of our session. I could keep going, like listening and watching for like another couple of hours, to be honest. But I really wanted to say once again, thank you to all of our Bright Spots fellows. So all of you that were able to come today and present. Your work is incredible, and I'm really proud that we were able to work together on this. I want to give a shout out to Jabal, who I know is not on here, but we really appreciate all that he was doing in working with you guys through this last 6 months. And thank you to Laura and Samantha from Local 2030 Islands Network, who stepped in today to help us run this because we we had the baby come. And then we look forward to doing another Bright Spot session next year, hopefully, and also to continuing to amplify and to connect you guys as much as we can with the work that we're doing in GLISPA and the work that others are doing. We really stand ready to do that. So you have a whole new group of supporters and collaborators coming with you. So Paula wants people to stay on this, but I actually have to jump off because I have to go to an appointment. But as I said, thank you so much to everyone. And thank you also to Yoko and the team at UNDP, Jeff's Small Grants Program, for continuing this work together with us. And over to you, Paula.
Thanks, Kate. We just wanted to do a quick photo, participants, and then one of just the panelists and presenters. Thank you. Can everybody turn on the panelists?
That's you, Laura and Sam.
I think we need to remove the spotlight from Kate.
Oh, please. Yes.
Oh, it is removed from Kate, but we can pull it into gallery view.
Okay. Can someone take the photo for me, please? I'm having technical issues on my side now. Sorry.
I will screenshot it, but Paula, will you move your face up just a little bit more so we can get all of you in there? Awesome. Got it. Thank you.
It's a historic moment.
Thank you.
I gotta go. See you. Bye.
And then for the picture with just the panelists, one moment as I adjust the screen. Wilson, would you be able to turn on your camera? One more time. Thank you. All right. Everybody smile. 1, 2, 3. Great. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Great. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much for all the hard work you have put into this. And we look forward to connecting again Have an awesome rest of day and night, son. I know you need to go back to bed. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Thanks a lot for having us. Goodbye.
Bye,
You're
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Thank
please
you for
remember
having
to
us.
your
Bye.
videos are up on the website, so please remember to share with your friends.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Great.
All right. Bye-bye. Good day and good night, everyone.
Thanks, Laura and Sam.
Thanks, Paula. Bye-bye.